Alright, shot this. It was 8 o'clock this evening. Today's the 17th of January 2014. And as you can see, there's the object of interest. I happened to glance towards the west, and I thought that maybe that was possibly Venus setting, but obviously wasn't. So I wanted to try to, check it out, see exactly what was going on. And as I watched it, I could see that it was obviously moving in regards to those power lines in front of it, which weren't, obviously they're stationary. You can see it's ready to climb, and that it's just a bright luminous ball of light. There's no navigation lights on it, because at first I thought, well, I'll check it out and see if it's going to be an airplane coming into the airport. Well, obviously it turned out it wasn't. It was noiseless. So here I am moving to get in a better position, because I was a little far back from the road and I wanted to get across the street, because I knew once I start moving towards those street lights to the left, those security lights from the school across the street, I was going to have trouble filming it. So I moved to this point here. The object now is still moving towards the south. Well, it's moving towards the southeast. And as you can see, relevant to the that there's a star next to it in the upper left area of the field of view there. And I'm still trying to move around because I think I'm still using night vision here, and the problem, see, it's already moving underneath that star. And again, I try to zoom in, and all you can see is just a ball of light. No navigation lights at all, just a solid shape of light. And here's where I started having some little focusing difficulties. The security light started providing a problem, so I'm going to move to another position here in a second. And I'm going to cross the street to try to get a better view without the light interfering. Again, as you can see by the timestamp, it's now 8:04, so I've been taping this object for about 4 minutes and some change. I'm using an analog Sony CCD camera for this. A larger objective, which is, for me, it's more effective for actually capturing stars in the star when I'm actually trying to photograph these high altitude mystery lights that I've been filming. But this object, just like I said, I caught it just by chance. I looked at it. If I hadn't been paying attention and kept concentrating on the zenith, I probably would have never seen it until much later, or maybe not seen it at all until I was walking back towards the house. Well, you'll see in a little bit. As again, this is still moving towards the south. Well, at that point I couldn't really tell if it was moving due south or moving towards the direction. Well, anyway, needless to say, I was just trying to, I was concentrating on trying to get a decent image on it, and as you can still see it clearly there. If you want to gauge its movement, look at the roof of that school building there below it, and you can watch it move towards the south. And I'm pretty positive it has a bit of southeast movement to it, but again, you can still see that it is moving relatively in that direction, as you can reference by both that star that's above it and the rooftop, if I can get it to lock in. I was having some trouble with the cameras. It cools off. These CCDs get very, very finicky. You need to leave them out. Of course, I'd been outside for a while with it, but still, it's stabilization. As you can see now, it's passing south of that star to the object at the top of the screen is a star, and the object of interest is in the center, close to the center of the view screen. Again, I'm trying to zoom in and see if I can see any details on it. And you still can't see any navigation lights. You just see a point of light, a disc. So continue on here, and I'm moving a little bit into a better position, which is why the object is dancing all over the place. I'm trying to get in a better spot because these lights are interfering with what I'm doing. So I'm also trying to get a view at it, a better view with higher magnification to identify it, but I'm also backing out as a point of reference from time to time so people can see where the object is at. And here's where it started doing some interesting things. In a little bit it's going to start to get dim, and it's going to brighten, and then it's going to, I think right there it just dimmed a little. But as you can see, it's still a disk of light. Again, no navigation lights or anything else that I could see, and moving steadily towards the south-southeast. And there's another star to the left of it, so we can see its movement. It was actually starting to move at a pretty good speed. At some points it would seem to stop, and not quite hover, but slow down in its velocity a little bit, and then it would speed up quite a bit. And obviously this is no weather balloon, because a weather balloon pretty much may be gaining in altitude, may be moved by wind velocity, by the velocity of the wind a little bit, but for the most part it's not going to maneuver. And this was not a plane headed towards the airport, because as it got closer I would have spotted navigation lights or one of the FCC required regulation lights that they're supposed to have on either commercial or private aircraft, whatever the case may be. So here it is again. It's dimmed a little bit. Let's move further to the south at a pretty good rate of, it picked up speed there for a little bit, and as you can see it's moved to the south a little bit more, and somewhere around here I'm going to lose it. It's just it shut off, like turning off a light switch. It just rapidly decreased in intensity, and I couldn't catch it, both with my eyes or the eye or in the eyepiece, because I don't film with the display screen out. I film with my right eye looking into the actual viewfinder, and then my left eye looking out at the target. And so that's a plane heading towards the airport. It just moved in towards my left, and it just crossed the view field there. So if this had been another plane, they would have vectored that plane around it to avoid it. So it's very likely this object I was filming wasn't even picked up on radar. Okay, now here I'd already thought it was over, so I moved back towards my original position of observing in the evening, and I'm looking south there over my grandfather's parking garage there, and the object appeared again. So there's my brother, and I'm trying to stabilize the camera, but the porch lights were on, so I hollered to them to go and turn them off, because it just plays havoc with the infrared sensitive setting of the camera, the night vision setting. But you can clearly see that's due south, 180 degrees to the south, and the object was hovering for a bit, and then it's going to start to move. You can see a star directly above it, and you'll see it start to move. There it is. It's already beginning to move towards the west. I'm sorry, towards the east. Hold on, no. Back towards the west, yeah. There it goes. Again, just a steady ball of light with a little bit of a corona around it, not much. And no navigation lights at all. At this point, again, it's only been not even 15 minutes since I originally saw the object. And you can see some power lines popping into the screen there at the top. And now it's going to start this losing. It just went out. But at that point, that's what I'm talking about, the effect where it just like turning off the lights. It went out. And I'm going to move to another position. I also screamed to my fiance at this point to bring out my other high-8 camera, which she's inside the house attempting to do right now. She'll come out and hand it to me, and I'll turn it on, because I was going to try to photograph it with the digital high-8. But with the digital high-8, it has a much smaller objective lens, which does not gather light like its brother does. So that's why I used the Sony CCD. Okay, at this point I've moved, because the object it disappeared, and then it just all of a sudden turns on, reappears right there, like somebody turned on a light. There it is. Again, I'm already 17 minutes, about 5-6 minutes past from the point where I was on the other side of the garage. Now I've gone through the garage to the back behind the house, and I'm already between my house and my neighbor's house to the south of me, and there's the object. It's hovering at the moment right now, but you're going to see it's going to start to move. I find that if I narrate these and tell you what's going on while I'm filming, see there's some trees to the bottom right, and you'll watch its motion. You begin to see its motion relative to that here in a moment. You can see it's moving slowly. This time it's back on a course towards the west. Southwest, possibly. I couldn't tell, but it was definitely moving at least in the westerly direction. And there it goes. Again, just a steady disk of light. Kind of like looking at Jupiter or a brighter planet, but there's no shape that I could discern from it. Sorry it's so jerky, but then when you have to move from position to position, it's not always practical. There, it's either losing intensity, and I think it just went out and I lost it again. Because you're going to see me pan out, and yeah, it just went out like the light's going out. And at this point it was almost back to the due south position of me when it disappeared. Okay, now at this point there's another object to the south, but I've looked at my charts, and from what I can see, this is a star directly due, almost due south, southern star in the sky. I just don't remember which name it is, but so I'm going to go ahead and stop the image here. But as you can see, the other two images were very clear. It was a bright disk of light, and I captured the winking out effect twice. So again, hopefully other people will have seen this and maybe also shot video of it. So this way, there'll be other video records of this for you know, MUFON or PsyCop, whoever's going to try to immediately discredit it as being, you know, some explainable phenomena. So again, I'll upload it and let you, the viewers, be the judge.